Hallo? Ja, jetzt geht's prompt nicht. Hello, 1, 2. Ah, okay. Also dann fangen wir nochmal bei Null an. Hello, welcome to the next session. In the next 45 minutes, we'll have presentations of 3 teams which provide infrastructure services for the TYPO3 project. So that is the design team, thanks for helping me out. The design team, the security team, and I will show you a few slides about the server team, what we do, who we are, and how you can help us. So first of all, who are we? Our team currently consists of 6 people. I'm leading the server team, and besides that, almost all of us speak German. Fabien is French speaking, so we try to communicate in English as often as possible. Our responsibilities are, first of all, the operation and maintenance of the whole server infrastructure. We do support requests for the community members. We do so with a ticket system. I'll come to that later, so you see how you can contact us whenever you have a problem with one of the TYPO3 services. We don't provide support if you have a question about TYPO3. That's a different team helping there. So we just try to keep every service running. And what we also do is a lot of research. I think that the server team should be a guiding party for, and provide best practices for various teams and operators who deal with the same problems as we do. And it makes a lot of sense to combine that energy and write about it. I always have to look at the screen because I don't see the slide here. I'm sorry for that. So our working mode is that we have a Skype meeting every 2 weeks. We do that at a time which is very hard for server admins. I don't know how it is for you. We meet at 8 a.m. in the morning. The thing is that all of us are very busy, and it was the only time when nobody gets disturbed in the morning. And I'm really proud that it works very well. We meet really every 2 weeks at 8 in the morning. We try to publish the notes from every meeting as soon as possible, so you can read them and find them at the link below. But links can also be found at the last slide. Then we have a private mailing list which we use for communication, which is sometimes internal. For example, last week we got hacked. The monitoring server got hacked, and not because we didn't update, but because the update wasn't announced as a security update, so we didn't find it important. But we found out quite hard. So we use a private communication channel to deal with this stuff. But at the same time, we try to communicate as much as possible. And as soon as the server was fixed, we also reported about it, and we also reported back to the team of the monitoring software, so they hopefully announce security incident in a proper way next time. We're having real life meetings. Next one is just in a week from now. We had 2 more this year, and the goal should be that we have about 4 meetings every year. So we try to meet as often as possible, and it's really helpful and gives a lot of inspiration each time we meet. And of course, it gives a boost in our productivity. If you want to get in contact with us, you can first of all read about the team on our team website, which is on typo3.org. just like all the teams are presented there. We have an issue tracker on Forge, so you can also read all the information about our ongoing projects there. You also find the meeting protocols there, which I mentioned before. If you are using Twitter, I recommend you to follow TYPO3 server on Twitter, because we provide a first-line response there. Most of the time it's people asking, hey, is this or that service still running? So we can check. Of course, I have to say we're doing our own monitoring. So in most of the cases, we're already working on it when someone reports it. But still, it's a good place to be sure that we know about a problem. If you have a request, that could be that you need a Git repository for your project, or you have an SVN repository and want to have it converted to Git, we also do that. A lot of people are having trouble with usernames who they cannot unlock or delete like they wish. So for all this, all kind of requests like this, you can just write an email to admin@typo3.org, and we try to respond to you as quick as possible. A few sites which we are maintaining. I think all of you know this one, typo3.org. It's running on our on just one virtual server, and the database on the second one. But besides this, it's just a usual project which many of you run also on servers, even though it has really high traffic, and it was very interesting to optimize the page to make it running on only one server, and it works just fine, as I think. The wiki is another site which you have seen probably in the past. There's still a lot of information covered on that page. It's a Mediawiki, also running on a shared server. Mailing lists. Who of you uses mailing lists? 1, 2, 3. So if you don't use mailing lists, we also have a news server, NNTP, access to the same lists, like here. And if both of you is too complicated for you, we also have a forum, which is web-based, and as you can see, you have the same forums there, like we have mailing lists for. So when someone makes a post on the mailing list, it will appear on the forum, and vice versa, the other way around. If you prepare to communicate with the forum, then just use this tool, which works pretty well. Forge, most of you who are working in some project know this page very well. It's our project tracker. It offers not only issue trackers for the projects, but also wikis. It offers, let me think, it offers documentation modules, repository, browser, etc. So everything which is mostly about the development is found here. There are also non-development teams who use Forge for their issue tracking, and the site is growing, and it's one of our next projects that we want to update this page. API.typo3.org is an example site which is very interesting for developers. So you find all the APIs of the various TYPO3 versions here. You find also the Flow API. I just see this. The site should be up to date, but the screenshot is a bit outdated. It still mentions Flow 3. Notes.typo3.org is a very interesting site for teams who have a Skype meeting. So it gives you an Etherpad, if you might have heard about that software. Either pad is a shared notepad, so one can write and everyone sees it immediately on their browser screen. Works very well, and it requires no registration at all. Just go to notes.type3.org, enter a scratchpad name, and share the link with your team members. A bit more behind the scenes is the CI server, which does all the quality checks for upcoming changes. We use that, for example, in combination with Gerrit. So whenever a developer sends in a patch to the Gerrit system, it is automatically sending a trigger to the CI server, which performs a number of checks on the server, on the change, to see if it's still running fine or not. The translation server is also very important. TYPO3 is an international system, and it has more than 40 translations, 40 languages being translated into. The translation server is running Pootle, a translation server system, which is also open source. And yeah, as you can see, we have styled it so that it fits into the TYPO3 CI. And the Git server, I've mentioned that before. We're using Git for the development. And the Git server is one of many systems also managed by the server team. Also, of course, the SVN server, which I didn't mention here. Combined with that is the review server, which is Gerrit. Gerrit is a software which allows developers to review changes on a website, give feedback to the change, comment on a specific code line, etc. And it's very helpful for us. get.type3.org is a rather new service which allows you to download a specific version of TYPO3 CMS using a command line. So you just use get.type3.org/current and you always get the last version of TYPO3 CMS. Then we have the demo site, which not only covers an introduction package, but it also has a few more sites which can be tried online without any registration. Just visit demo.type3.org and have a look at it. So where's this all working? All of it is running on 6 physical servers, which are entirely sponsored by companies who we are very thankful for. So we list them here. These are our sponsors. If you count correctly, you see 7 sponsors. It's because the backup server is a separate system, which we didn't include here, which is running at the University of Würzburg, so it's an off-site backup. All the servers are running on Debian Linux. The machines usually have between 12 and 24 gigabytes of memory, and they are running it's about 30 virtualized servers. We do that, we run them using OpenVZ. It's a virtualization software which runs very well, but unfortunately it's not anymore supported by the latest Debian version, so we might need to move to LXC. The last sentence I shouldn't forget. If you run so many servers and manage all of them, it makes a lot of sense to orchestrate the setup, and for that we use Chef. Chef is a configuration management software which allows us to maintain the servers just like we maintain code. So the instructions, what to install on the server, etc., is all written in source code and can be versionized and distributed very easily. This is the monitoring system that I mentioned before. There is also public website. Well, this site is of course locked behind the doors. It's protected by a login. But if you go to visit status.type3.org, you should find a nice overview of all the servers and a little indication. So if the server is colored in green, it's operating normally, and if it's orange or red, then it has a problem, and we are already working on it. Unfortunately, that status site is broken since the incident last week, but it should be back again by tonight. So if you're interested to help in our team, this is how you can participate. First of all, you are invited to join our next sprint, which will take place next week in Hamburg. So just get in touch with me if you're interested in that. The goals are also listed here. We are, of course, trying to improve and gain knowledge altogether. So we do a lot of sharing there, discussion, but we also try to finish various things. Most important for us is currently the update of the Forge website, which I've shown before, and which should happen, very soon then. You can also apply by sending us a mail to admin@type3.org. And even if it's next week, we are still open, and look forward to meet many of you at this meeting. Just get in touch with us. So here's again how to contact you. But other than this, I'm finished, and like to hand over to who's next? Yeah, to Helmut. Thanks for your interest.
Okay, so I talk a little bit about the TYPO3 security team, which I'm a member of. This is a list of our team members. Our responsibilities are mainly, you probably know that, are incident handling for TYPO3 core and of the so-called TYPO3 extension repository extensions. So incident handling means getting reports from several people, handling them in a so-called responsible disclosure policy, which means that we handle them in private and then resolve them, hopefully with a fix, and release the fix and an announcement about the issue itself with a fixed TYPO3 or extension version. We also do incident handling for TYPO3 flow. Luckily, there weren't there many lately, so not much work for us, luckily, to do in this area. And we will also support TYPO3 Neos once it is released, because we have set up to lower our workflow to only support released versions and not development versions. This is, for example, also true for TYPO3 CMS. If a security issue, for example, is in the TYPO3 CMS current development version and it doesn't exist at all in other versions, then we won't handle this in a private workflow, but just fix the issue publicly and just commit it to the repository. In cooperation with Michael Schams, we also have written a security guideline, which you can find on, did you mention docstypo3.org on your slides? No. On which is a site also maintained by the admin team. Just go to documentation, I think, or docs-typo3. Docstypo3.org, and go to the section guidelines, and there you can find the security guideline, which is a quite big manual with many sections in it for admins and for a small section for developers, which need to be improved in the future, but also for editors. Just check it out. It is quite helpful. And of course, one task for us is to educate people. I'm giving talks regularly on several security issues which might be prevented when coding correctly, and yeah, do presentation on several conferences or meetings. Our working mode, we have a private mailing list. Like I said before, we are trying to handle everything privately and just publish the resolution then. We also have a issue tracker, which is quite the same as the mailing list. So when you write us, like is mentioned on the next slide, I think, with using the email address security@typo3.org, then automatically a ticket is created in our issue tracker and a mail is sent to the mailing list. And we also have real-life meetings. Not very often. I try to improve this in the future, so that we at least have 2 or 3 real-life meetings per year and not only one, like it's currently the case. And we would also like to pick up again regular Skype meetings, which we had a time ago, but currently we are not doing. What do we have as future plans? Yeah, and just in general, to smoothen our infrastructure, we have a lot of tools we use, and they are quite scattered, and information is spread over different tools, and this needs to be somehow consolidated and put together in something that is a little bit more meaningful. And also the workflow for fixing TYPO3 CMS or flow bugs. We have some private repository there, but the workflow is a little bit rough, so we need to improve, and we need to talk to the server team about that. Yeah, another issue is that I mentioned it in my talk this afternoon already, is that creating an advisory or security bulletin you might have seen takes a lot of time, because it's a lot of manual copy-pasting text elements, creating new identifiers for each security, sorry, oops, for each advisory, which is error-prone and takes quite some time. And we would like to create a so-called incident handling system where we can not only enter the data in a structured way and not some kind of blob of rich text editor text, which hopefully helps us to fasten the whole process up and make it less error prone, and also it will be helpful for you as users, because such a system that can then provide RSS or XML feeds which have actually structured data in it, so that you can process them automatically, or just provide an API which can be processed in some monitoring system of yours, like Nagios or Zabbix or whatever. So this is something we like to create, and yeah, of course we will, once the release is done, also support TYPO3 Neos. And one major thing is, because we have a lot of work to do, we have quite a queue which we try to finish. So if you know somebody, or you yourself like to support us in any way, like helping to create the incident handling system, or want to become a member and helping us with our workflow, it would be very helpful. Or if you, for example, want to come to our next sprint, it's also in November, it's also in Hamburg, end of November, starting of December. And if you don't manage to come to the sprint, and still want to help or participate in any way, contact us just via this mailing list, this mail address. Or what I would prefer is, if you're here or know something who is here, just contact me personally at the conference, because it's a sensitive topic, and I would, or we would always like to speak to people in person first before they can become a team member. And yeah, I mentioned it, helping creating the incident handling system would also be very helpful and awesome. We also have a team website, and you probably know the the announce mailing list, where we also publish every security release. We have the security bulletins all listed up on this URL you see there. And if you like to use Twitter, we also publish every announcement, every security-related announcement through a Twitter account, which you can follow. And if you have any questions or if you have some issues found where we are not sure if they are security-related or not, just contact us via security@typo3.org email. Well, I think that's it. All right. So, any questions? Then I would.
Hi. Hi. Well, I'm Rob, and I like beautiful things. So, no, I don't do servers. No, I don't know anything about security, as you can see. No. Those people just don't care about security. Anyway, so I said I like beautiful things like this. So, if you, as me, love beautiful things like this, well, actually not, more things like this, well, you could be interested in joining us in our beautiful little team. It's the design team, as you might have guessed. And if you're not afraid about a mess like this, this is actually this, before it became physical. And if you love other tools like this, and yeah, and sometimes do something like this, then again, I would really love if you would just talk to me, or if you know anybody, if you got somebody in your agency who is totally in love with design, well, you know, engage him and tell him that he should join the design team. We always need good people, and I'm sure there are a lot of good people out there and there today. So, one question, can you use fixed width and still be cool in 2013? Normally not, right? Sure you can. It's millimeters, right? So, I don't know if somebody got that joke, but okay. That was a nice try. So, what do we do? Illustrations, print design, product design. So if you're, if you're a little bit into that, a little bit not that much of web design. So this would be more the usability, the UX team that we have. Because I keep getting applications and saying, yeah, I'm totally into HTML5 and CSS3. And I said, yeah, that's great. But, we need to do this. And I just can't code that. So, yeah, it's more like the print world, the physical world that we're in. So if you know somebody or if you yourself are into this, join us. And oh yeah, did I say that? We're the TYPO3 design team. And who we are actually, yeah, we are 6 members right now, including me. So there's 3 Bavarians, 2 Russians, and 1 guy from Germany. So this is how we set up, and yes, we also do meet in the real world. We don't do sprints, we do drinks, which is nice also, and the outcome is, I think, also very, very interesting. Excuse me? Colorful. Very colorful, yeah, right. Like, where we were, like, oh, this. I need to keep that. It's so beautiful. So. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it, because there's not so much to say about our work. It's just looking at it, and thank you. And I would love to join us, you to join us like that. Thanks.